Bless Squad, what's going on with y'all, man? It's your boy, Blessed Applesauce, here to bless y'all with another video here on Blessed to Invest. And today I want to talk about trading psychology. A lot of people talk about trading, how to make X amount of money, how to set up the strategy, how to do the risk management, but a lot of people leave out the third component. The main component of trading is going to be the trading psychology. If your mind is messed up, if you're making trades, if you're trading emotionally, for anybody that's been in the game for a while, I know y'all have had those moments where you get emotional, you get upset, you revenge trade where a trade goes against you, you start losing, and then you're like, man, I got to make this money back. And then you lose again, and you're like, oh my gosh, I got to really make this money back. And you lose, and you're just getting to that emotional upset state where you're not moving properly. And that's where trading psychology comes into play. This is going to be a very important video. And I want y'all to take a lot of these things that I have here written down into account. If you haven't been doing them in your trading, make sure you try them out because they really will help. All these things I personally do. I've been through them all. I've lost money not doing some of these things. So make sure you do every single one. But before we get into it, make sure you spam the like button and also sub down below for more content like this because we're going to be doing a lot of trading content like this in the future. So without further ado, let's get into it. So the first thing you need to be doing on a consistent basis, this is going to be daily or weekly or just in some type of consistency, is meditate. Meditation is something I started doing after I got into trading, probably into my second year of trading, because I realized how revenge trading, and if you've been doing in this game for a while, you realize your emotions play a big factor, and you figure out, okay, meditation is going to be the way to relax my emotions so I don't revenge trade, or I don't get upset over a loss, or I'm not thinking irrationally when I took the wrong setup or something like that. So getting yourself to do some meditation consistently is going to be very beneficial. On top of that, it helps you just in life in general. It makes you really sit back, relax, reflect on what's going on, reflect on what happened, instead of just taking the first reaction of what's going on. And a lot of times, half the time in trading, really, it comes from just sitting on the sidelines. Most of the time, the actions you feel like you need to take are the ones you don't need to be taking. Most of the time, you just need to sit back, relax, chill. Even if you miss a particular setup, sometimes you're just not in the right mindset to do it. So meditation is going to get you in that space where you can really reflect on how you're feeling. Next, a lot of people run into a lot of psychological issues is because they don't have another source of income. I was just listening to a guy on Chat with Traders where he ended up he made like $50,000 from the market. He was living good. He ended up moving across overseas, and he was like, yeah, I got this trading thing in the bag. I'm good. I've been making consistent money over the last 6, 12 months or whatever. I'm moving, I'm gone. He was super excited to do it. But over the first couple months, he was doing okay. But then he realized he had no other source of income, and it started stressing him out. And that reflected in his trading. He was cutting trades short when he shouldn't have. He was taking bigger losses than he should have been doing. And that's just because when you're relying on one source of income, trading is really the worst career to have, to rely on one source of income. Or if you do, you want to have it set up where that source of income that you have is so big that you're not, even if you take a big hit, it's not going to be a big issue for you. So if you need $3,000 a month to sustain yourself, make sure you can make $10,000, $15,000 a month from trading. So even if you have a couple of bad months, you're not going to be stressing about the bills. You're not going to be stressing about what's going on in life, where you take more aggressive trades because you're trying to make the cable bill or make the electricity bill. And the best thing I recommend for people is get a second job, especially when you're learning this game. Having a second source of income will make you relax. I know for me, I took a break from working to trade. Worst decision ever. Terrible. I was super emotional relying on the trading, and you even see it. Like once you get a job, a secondary income, if you lose in the day, you're like, oh, okay, time to take myself to work. I'm good. I'll make it back at work, instead of thinking, okay, I have to make it back in the market. That's just how it changes how you feel about trading, and or it changes how you react on trading. So make sure you have a secondary source of income, especially when you're learning this game. It's going to be very important for your psychology. Next is going to be check your emotions before you get into the trade. There is a lot of times in this game where you're just not emotionally there to trade. Maybe you had a bad morning, maybe you had a bad evening, maybe you didn't get enough sleep, maybe just something is going on in your life and you're just not mentally there to trade. I know for me, one time I went up to New York. I took a trip up to New York. I didn't get a lot of sleep the previous night. I was kind of just winging it. I hopped into a couple of trades. I was like, you know what, I got this. This is basically clockwork to me. I don't need extra sleep. I'm good. Got to New York, got in my hotel, turned on the computer. Everything was good. I thought I made a little bit of money. I think I made like $400 in the first couple of trades. I was like, okay, yep, I got this. I'm good. And I traded some more, and then it ended up reducing the win big time. So I really should have walked away. But when you're dealing with so lack of sleep, you don't know when to cut your trades. You don't know when to manage losses well. You're not thinking as clearly. Just kind of like they say, sleeping and driving, being sleepy and driving is a dangerous combination. Being sleepy and trading is dangerous. Being emotional and trading is a dangerous combination. So make sure you check your emotions at the door, even if you have to take a day off from trading. This should not be something you're like, okay, I have to do this. I have to do this. It's more of, I'm going to do this if I'm in the right mindset. So make sure you're checking your emotions at the door. Next thing is going to be set it up with if then statements. This is probably one of the most important, especially for the people that are trying to learn their strategy, learn their system, and improve their psychology within their strategy and system. What you can do is write down exactly what you would do if the stock moves this way. You're going to move, then you're going to do this. If the stock goes up, then I'm going to take profits. If the stock goes down, then I'm going to cut the loss. If the stock goes sideways, then I'm going to cut it off in the next 5 minutes. If the stock aggressively goes down, then I'm going to cut it off or add, or whatever system you have in mind for whatever scenario may happen to a particular stock within a particular time frame. Make sure you have an if-then statement for that and how that's going to work. That's going to really save you a lot in this game, being able to figure out, okay, if this happens, I'm going to do this. If this happens, I'm going to do this, because it takes your emotions out of it, because you already have it written down exactly how it's going to be playing. So make sure you check that out. And last but not least, people, you need to join the chat room. A chat room is going to get you in a mindset where you're around a lot of like-minded people, where you can set yourself up for people that have been in this game a long time, that know what's going on, that know what they're doing. And when you're around a community like that, it really is like, okay, I can't be trading emotional. There's people looking out for me. There's people checking on me. There's people, and you have to be, you got to communicate in these chat rooms. That's the only way it's going to work. But if you set it up where you communicate in the chat room, you're active in the chat room, people are going to hold you accountable to your trading. They're going to hold you accountable to your performance, and you don't want to let those people down. So I know when I was in the chat room with a guy named Investor Domain, he doesn't trade stocks as much, but every day we were in that chat room, and people will hold each other accountable. Like, why would you make that trade? That was a foolish trade. Why would you not cut your trade short? Why would you not take profits right here? And when I was trading, that would be in the back of my mind, like, okay, if I let this thing run and I take a big loss in a day, the people in the chat room are going to ask me, like, what's going on here? Why did you do that? You know, your goal is to make X amount of dollars. You know, your goal is to stick to your strategy. You know, your goal is to do these things that are right for your account. So with people holding you accountable like that, and it can be just an accountability partner or a partner that you have in this trading game, if you're holding yourself accountable and somebody else is checking on you, make sure you're accountable, is really going to affect your psychology and improve it so you do the right thing every time. But those are my tips for how to improve your psychology, how you can take your game to the next level, because that is really what's going to do it for you. You might have the strategy, you might have the playbook, but after, you might have the risk management as well. But if you don't have the psychology, if If you don't have these things, if you're not working on these things, you are not going to improve as a trader. And shout out Jared Tindler. I recommend you read his Mental Game of Trading. He also discusses some of these things in his book as well. Really propel me to the next level. But if you have any other psychology things that you work on to improve your psychology, let me know down in the comments section down below. It's going to really help somebody out to see what they do to improve their psychology. But that's going to wrap it up. It's been your boy, Blessed Applesauce. Stay blessed. And I'll see y'all next time on Blessed to My Best.
Just to see tomorrow is a blessing. Stay prayed up is the message. Everything about a nigga blessed. Everything about a nigga blessed.